My child, listen to me carefully and do not rush past this moment, because what you believed and what was true are not the same thing, and your heart deserves honesty now more than comfort. You believed your soulmate loved you, and that belief was not foolish. It was formed from hope, effort, patience, and the way you kept giving the benefit of the doubt even when your spirit felt uneasy. You trusted words that sounded sincere, gestures that felt familiar, and moments that seemed deep enough to justify the waiting. You told yourself that love sometimes looks confusing, that timing is complicated, that silence can still mean care. And for a while, that belief helped you survive. But now the truth is rising, not to shame you, not to punish you, but to free you. Stay with me, don't scroll away, because your heart needs this right now, and if you listen till the end, you will understand why everything felt off even when you tried to make it feel right. The truth is shocking not because they never felt anything, but because what they felt was not the same depth you were offering. You were loving from a place of intention, while they were engaging from a place of convenience. You were building meaning, while they were managing comfort. And this difference created a quiet imbalance that your soul sensed long before your mind was willing to accept it. You noticed how effort was inconsistent, how clarity was delayed, how commitment was always almost there but never fully present. You explained it away. You told yourself they were scared, healing, busy, figuring things out. You told yourself love requires patience, and patience became the reason you ignored your own discomfort. But hear me now, because this message is for you. Love that is real does not require you to constantly doubt your worth. Love that is aligned does not leave you feeling anxious after moments that should have felt safe. The shocking truth is that they loved how you made them feel, but they did not love you in the way your soul needed. They loved the attention, the understanding, the way you stayed even when they pulled back. They loved the role you played in their life, but they were not prepared to step into the role you needed them to fill. This does not make you weak. It reveals your capacity to love deeply. But depth without reciprocity turns into self-abandonment, and that is where I had to step in. There were moments when you felt a tightening in your chest, moments when your intuition whispered that something was missing, moments when you asked yourself why love felt like work instead of refuge. You prayed quietly, hoping things would change, hoping they would suddenly choose you the way you had already chosen them. And I heard those prayers. I did not ignore them. I was preparing you for truth, because truth is the only thing that can break a cycle you were about to repeat. The truth is shocking because you invested faith where there was familiarity, and you mistook emotional closeness for emotional availability. They shared pieces of themselves, but they did not offer responsibility. They opened doors, but they never invited you fully inside. And you kept waiting for the moment when potential would turn into commitment. That moment was never coming, not because you were not enough, but because they were not ready to love beyond their comfort. Listen to me, because your heart needs this clarity now. You were not wrong for believing. You were wrong only in believing that love must hurt to be real. You thought endurance was proof of destiny, but endurance without mutual effort is not destiny, it is delay. And delay was costing you more than time, it was costing you peace. That is why things started to unravel. That is why conversations became circular. That is why you felt emotionally tired even on good days. That is why you kept asking for reassurance instead of feeling secure. Your soul knew the truth before your mind accepted it. And now the truth is no longer whispering, it is standing in front of you, asking you to choose yourself. Don't scroll, stay with me, because I need you to understand this part deeply. The love you gave was real. The connection you felt was real. But the future you imagined was built on hope, not alignment. And hope without alignment becomes a burden. You were carrying the relationship forward with belief alone, while they were standing still, benefiting from your devotion without matching your direction. This is why it feels shocking now. Not because the truth is cruel, but because it is clear. Clear enough to end confusion. Clear enough to release you from waiting. Clear enough to make room for something honest. I am not telling you this to harden your heart. I am telling you this to heal it. You are not losing your soulmate. You are losing an illusion that kept you emotionally unavailable to real love. The one who is meant for you will not leave you guessing, will not make you feel like asking for consistency is too much, will not confuse intensity with intimacy. The one meant for you will choose you without negotiation. And until you let go of what you believed was love, you cannot receive what actually is. This is not the end of your story. This is the moment the fog lifts. This is the moment your heart stops negotiating with pain and starts aligning with truth. Stay till the end of this journey with me, because what comes next will surprise you in ways hope never could. If this message spoke to you, like it, share it with someone who needs clarity today, and subscribe so you don't miss what I reveal next, because your healing has only just begun. My child, stay with me and do not turn away now, because part of healing is allowing the truth to finish speaking instead of silencing it once it becomes uncomfortable. What you are feeling after that realization is not weakness, it is grief mixed with awakening, and that combination can feel overwhelming if you don't understand it. You are grieving not just the person, but the version of the future you kept alive in your mind. You are grieving the effort you poured in, the patience you practiced, the hope you protected even when evidence asked you to be careful. And I need you to hear this clearly before you misinterpret your pain. Grief does not mean you made the wrong choice to love, it means you loved sincerely in a situation that could not sustain it. That distinction matters. The shock you feel now comes from recognizing how long you stayed loyal to an idea while ignoring how lonely you felt inside the connection. You were present, emotionally available, willing to grow, willing to communicate, willing to wait. They were comfortable, receptive, appreciative, but not transformative. They did not move toward you, they allowed you to move toward them. And over time, that imbalance trained your heart to work harder for moments that should have been freely given. This is why you feel tired now, not just sad. Emotional exhaustion is the body's way of saying you carried something that was never meant to be yours alone. You may replay moments, wondering if you misunderstood, if you expected too much, if you asked at the wrong time or said the wrong thing. Listen to me now, because your heart needs this truth. The right love does not require you to constantly audit yourself. You do not need to be smaller, quieter, more patient, or more understanding to earn consistency. When love is mutual, effort feels shared, not negotiated. What made this shocking is not that they didn't love you at all, but that they loved you selectively. They loved you when it felt good, when it was easy, when it asked nothing of their growth. They pulled back when love required courage, clarity, or responsibility. And you kept interpreting their withdrawal as a phase instead of a pattern. Patterns are truth repeating itself until it is acknowledged. You were not blind, you were hopeful. And hope without boundaries can become self-sacrifice disguised as loyalty. That is why your intuition kept interrupting you. That is why you felt anxious before conversations, drained after reassurance, unsettled even during closeness. Those were not flaws in you, those were signals asking you to pause. You didn't ignore them because you are naive, you ignored them because you believed love should be patient and enduring. But patience is not meant to override self-respect. Endurance is not meant to replace mutual effort. Love that asks you to abandon your emotional needs is not refining you, it is diminishing you. And I could not allow that to continue. This separation you feel now, even if it has not fully happened externally yet, is happening internally first. Your spirit is withdrawing from a story it can no longer believe in. That withdrawal hurts because belief once gave you comfort. But comfort built on uncertainty eventually turns into anxiety. You were surviving on emotional crumbs while convincing yourself it was a feast. And the reason this truth feels shocking is because you loved honestly, without strategy, without games. You showed up as yourself, and that is never something to regret. The pain you feel now is not punishment, it is detox. Your heart is releasing an attachment that was formed through inconsistency, and inconsistency creates a chemical bond that feels like love but behaves like addiction. High moments followed by absence. Closeness followed by distance. Promises followed by delay. That cycle trained your nervous system to stay alert instead of safe. And safety is what real love provides. I am breaking that cycle now, not to leave you empty, but to restore your sense of emotional truth. You are learning that longing is not proof of destiny. Familiarity is not proof of alignment. Intensity is not proof of commitment. What you thought was love was a mixture of hope, attachment, and emotional investment without equal return. And again, that does not make you wrong, it makes you human. But now you are being asked to choose differently. Not out of bitterness, not out of fear, but out of clarity. The next phase of your healing will challenge you to stop romanticizing potential and start honoring reality. To stop waiting for people to become who they said they might be and start believing who they consistently show you they are. This is not about closing your heart, it is about strengthening it. A strong heart loves without self-betrayal. A strong heart listens when peace leaves. A strong heart walks away when effort is one-sided, even if feelings remain. And I know that feels hard right now, because your emotions have not caught up with your understanding yet. That is okay. Healing is not instant agreement between heart and mind. It is a process of alignment. Be gentle with yourself in this phase. Do not rush forgiveness. Do not force closure. Do not shame yourself for missing someone who was familiar even if they were misaligned. Missing is not a sign you should go back. It is a sign you are human and capable of attachment. What matters is what you do with that feeling. You are not meant to return to what broke your peace just because it once felt like love. You are meant to grow beyond it. And you will. Because now you know the truth. And truth, even when it hurts, always leads to freedom. My child, stay with me and don't rush away from this moment, because now we must talk about what happens after the truth settles in and the heart begins to wake up from survival. This is the phase where confusion turns into clarity, and clarity begins to change the way you see yourself, not just them. You may notice that the ache is still there, but it feels different now. It is no longer the sharp pain of rejection or the desperate longing to be chosen. It is the dull realization of how much you carried, how often you silenced yourself, how many times you compromised your emotional needs just to keep the connection alive. This realization can feel heavy, and your mind may try to pull you back into old habits, replaying memories, searching for proof that you mattered, wondering if things could have turned out differently. Listen to me carefully, because your heart needs this truth now more than ever. Closure does not come from answers they never gave you, it comes from understanding why you were willing to wait so long for something that kept hurting you. You were not addicted to them, you were attached to the version of yourself that believed love would eventually reward loyalty. And letting go of that belief feels like losing a part of who you thought you were. That is why this stage feels so quiet and so loud at the same time. Quiet on the outside, loud on the inside. You may feel empty some days, like something familiar is missing, even though that familiar thing often brought anxiety. This emptiness is not a void meant to punish you, it is space being created for something healthier. Space feels uncomfortable when you are used to emotional noise. Your nervous system learned to associate love with anticipation, uncertainty, and emotional effort. Peace feels foreign right now, not because it is wrong, but because it is new. Do not mistake calm for boredom. Do not mistake stability for lack of chemistry. What you are experiencing is your heart unlearning chaos. And unlearning chaos feels strange at first. You may catch yourself wanting to reach out, wanting to check if they miss you, wanting confirmation that you mattered. That desire is not love calling you back, it is your attachment system looking for familiarity. Familiarity is powerful, even when it was painful. But hear me now, because this message is for you. You do not need validation from someone who could not meet you to know your worth. Your worth was never determined by their ability to choose you fully. It was revealed by how deeply you loved, how long you stayed hopeful, and how willing you were to grow. Those qualities will not disappear because one connection failed to hold them properly. They will find a place where they are reciprocated instead of exploited. This is the moment where you stop asking, "Why wasn't I enough for them?" and start asking, "Why did I accept so little for so long?" That question is not meant to shame you, it is meant to empower you. You accepted inconsistency because you believed love required endurance. You accepted confusion because you believed clarity would come later. You accepted emotional distance because you believed commitment develops slowly. And while patience can be virtuous, patience without mutual effort becomes self-neglect. You are not being asked to become harder or colder after this. You are being asked to become more honest with yourself. Honest about what you need. Honest about what feels safe. Honest about what drains you versus what nourishes you. You may notice now that your standards are quietly shifting. You are no longer impressed by words without follow-through. You are no longer comforted by potential. You are no longer willing to compete with uncertainty. This is growth, even if it feels lonely at first. Growth often feels lonely because it separates you from versions of yourself that tolerated less. And there is grief in that separation. Grieve it. Do not rush past it. But do not confuse grief with regret. Regret would mean you wish you had loved less. Grief simply means you loved fully and now you are honoring the cost of that love. There will be moments when memories resurface unexpectedly. A song, a place, a phrase they used. When that happens, do not judge yourself. Memory is not an invitation to return. It is simply your mind releasing stored emotion. Let it pass through without attaching meaning to it. You are not going backward because you remember. You are moving forward because you no longer romanticize what hurt you. And slowly, something powerful will begin to happen. You will start to feel your energy returning. Your thoughts will feel less heavy. Your body will relax in ways you didn't realize it had been tense. You will laugh without immediately thinking of them. You will enjoy moments without wishing they were there. These are signs that your heart is reclaiming itself. And when that happens, you may feel a strange mix of relief and sadness. Relief that the constant emotional work is over. Sadness that you stayed so long hoping it would change. Both feelings can exist together without canceling each other out. This is maturity. This is healing. I want you to understand this clearly, because it will protect you moving forward. The love you thought you lost was never the love meant to stay. It was a lesson designed to teach you discernment, boundaries, and self-trust. It showed you how deeply you can feel, and it showed you what happens when depth is not met with depth. That knowledge will guide you now. You will no longer confuse attention with intention. You will no longer confuse chemistry with compatibility. You will no longer confuse attachment with alignment. And because of this, the next connection that enters your life will feel different. It will not feel like a chase. It will not feel like confusion. It will not require you to prove your worth or wait for clarity. It will feel steady, mutual, and calm. At first, that calm may feel unfamiliar. You may even question it. But trust me when I say this, peace is not boring, it is healing. And you deserve a love that feels like home, not like a test. Stay with me through this phase. Do not rush to replace what you lost. Do not numb the grief. Let yourself integrate the lesson fully. Because once you do, you will never again beg for what should be freely given. And that is when your life truly begins to change. My child, remain with me and don't pull away now, because this is the part where your heart begins to stand back up on its own feet, even if it still feels tender. What you are experiencing now is not emptiness, it is recalibration. Your inner world is reorganizing itself after carrying confusion for far too long. You may notice that your thoughts are quieter, but your emotions come in waves. One moment you feel strong and clear, the next moment you feel an unexpected ache, a sudden memory, a longing that surprises you. Do not be alarmed by this. Healing is not a straight line, it is a release in layers. Each wave is carrying out something that no longer belongs in you. You are not regressing, you are unloading. And the reason this phase feels so personal is because you are no longer focused on them, you are being brought back to yourself. For a long time, your emotional energy was oriented outward, monitoring, hoping, adjusting, waiting. Now that energy has nowhere to go but inward, and that can feel uncomfortable at first. You may start to notice parts of yourself you neglected. Desires you postponed. Joys you put on hold. Dreams you told yourself you'd return to later. This awareness can come with regret, but hear me clearly now, because your heart needs this truth: nothing was wasted. The love you gave shaped you. The patience you practiced strengthened you. The pain you endured taught you discernment. You are not behind because you stayed. You are prepared because you learned. And now you are entering a season where you will no longer have to convince yourself to stay somewhere that drains you. You will feel a growing intolerance for mixed signals, emotional ambiguity, and inconsistency. Things you once rationalized will now feel immediately off. This is not bitterness. This is clarity. Your nervous system is learning what safety feels like, and it will no longer settle for chaos disguised as passion. You may notice that you are less reactive now. Less tempted to explain yourself. Less willing to chase closure. That is because you are finally giving yourself what you once hoped they would give you: validation, understanding, and rest. There is power in this shift, even if it feels quiet. You are no longer negotiating with your intuition. You are listening to it. And your intuition is not loud, it is steady. It speaks in calm certainty, not urgency. It tells you when something aligns and when something doesn't, without needing drama to get your attention. You may still feel moments of sadness, especially when you think about what could have been. Let those moments come without trying to correct them. Sadness does not mean you want to go back. It means you cared. And caring deeply is not a flaw, it is a gift that simply needs the right place to land. The shocking truth you learned earlier was not meant to harden you, it was meant to realign you. You are beginning to see that love is not proven through sacrifice alone. Love is proven through mutual presence, emotional availability, and shared direction. You should not have to wonder where you stand. You should not have to decode behavior. You should not have to shrink your needs to maintain connection. And because you now know this, your standards are no longer something you have to force yourself to hold. They are becoming natural. Effort that once felt too much will now feel like the bare minimum. And what is meant for you will not be offended by your standards, it will rise to meet them. There may be moments when loneliness tries to convince you that what you lost was better than being alone. Do not believe that lie. Loneliness is temporary. Self-abandonment is far more damaging. You are learning how to sit with yourself without panic, how to be alone without feeling unchosen. That skill will change every relationship you have going forward. You will no longer enter connections from fear of loss. You will enter from wholeness. And wholeness does not cling. Wholeness chooses. You may also notice that forgiveness is beginning to surface, not because they apologized or changed, but because you are tired of carrying resentment. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was acceptable. It means you are choosing not to let it occupy space in your future. You are releasing the need for them to understand you in order for you to move on. That is freedom. And freedom feels light, even if grief still visits occasionally. As you continue forward, you will start to recognize red flags sooner, not with suspicion, but with clarity. You will no longer ignore discomfort to preserve potential. You will no longer wait for someone to become consistent. You will no longer confuse longing with love. This does not make you closed off. It makes you available for something real. The love meant for you will not arrive with confusion. It will arrive with recognition. It will not require endurance. It will offer support. It will not test your worth. It will reflect it. And because you walked through this loss consciously, you will recognize that love when it comes. You will not chase it. You will meet it. You are not being punished by this ending. You are being protected. You are being prepared. You are being repositioned. There is nothing wrong with you for believing. There is nothing embarrassing about hoping. There is nothing weak about staying until the truth became undeniable. Strength is not leaving early. Strength is leaving when clarity arrives. And clarity has arrived. Now, let your heart continue to settle. Let your identity rebuild around truth instead of attachment. Let your life expand again without waiting for permission. You are not broken. You are becoming wiser. You are not alone. I am with you in every quiet moment, every deep breath, every step forward that feels small but is actually monumental. This chapter is closing not with bitterness, but with understanding. And understanding is what makes room for the love that will finally meet you where you stand, not where you bend. My child, stay with me and let this final layer unfold, because now we are standing at the place where pain no longer defines you, it informs you. This is the stage where you stop identifying yourself as someone who was hurt and begin recognizing yourself as someone who learned. You may notice that the story no longer grips you the way it once did. It still exists, but it does not own your emotions. You can think about it without spiraling, remember without collapsing, and reflect without blaming yourself. This is not because it mattered less than you thought, but because you have grown larger than the experience itself. Your heart has expanded beyond the wound. And this is where true freedom begins. You are no longer asking why it happened, because you now see what it gave you: discernment, self-trust, and the courage to walk away from what does not choose you back. The shocking truth you once resisted has now become the foundation of your strength. You see clearly that love is not proven by how much you tolerate, but by how safe you feel being yourself. You see that effort without direction leads to exhaustion, not union. You see that connection without commitment drains rather than builds. And because you see this now, you will never again mistake emotional intensity for emotional security. This awareness is changing how you show up in the world. You speak more honestly. You listen to your body more closely. You no longer override discomfort just to keep peace. Peace is no longer something you chase, it is something you protect. And that shift is powerful. You may notice that people respond to you differently now. Some will step closer, drawn to your grounded presence. Others may drift away, unable to meet the clarity you now carry. Do not fear this. Alignment always rearranges your environment. What is not meant to grow with you cannot stay where you are going. You are not losing people, you are losing misalignment. And that is a blessing, even when it feels quiet at first. There will be moments when you look back and feel compassion for the version of yourself who stayed longer than they should have. Do not judge that version. They were doing the best they could with the understanding they had at the time. They believed in love. They believed in people. They believed that patience could fix what honesty should have addressed. That belief came from goodness, not weakness. Honor it, then release it. You do not need to carry old strategies into a new season. This season requires something different from you. It requires presence, not performance. Boundaries, not endurance. Choice, not waiting. And you are ready. You may find that your heart now feels open but not desperate, hopeful but not attached to outcomes. This is the healthiest place love can grow from. You are no longer trying to be chosen. You are choosing. You are choosing what feels right, what feels reciprocal, what feels steady. And that choice will guide you toward connections that feel like partnership instead of pursuit. There is a love ahead of you that will not trigger your anxiety. It will not make you question your worth. It will not keep you guessing. It will arrive calmly, clearly, and with intention. At first, you may feel suspicious of how easy it feels. That is okay. Ease will become familiar again with time. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Let it. Do not rush into proving anything. Let consistency speak. Let actions confirm. Let time reveal. You no longer need to chase intensity to feel alive. You are alive because you are aligned. And alignment feels peaceful. As you move forward, you will notice that you are no longer attracted to potential. You are attracted to presence. You are no longer impressed by words. You are grounded by behavior. You are no longer willing to negotiate your emotional needs. You understand that love which requires self-abandonment is not love meant to last. This understanding will protect you more than walls ever could. And if there are days when sadness still visits, welcome it gently. It is only the sadness of release, not of regret. It is your heart saying goodbye to an old chapter with grace. Let it pass through without turning it into meaning. Meaning has already been made. The lesson has been learned. The cycle has been broken. You are not who you were when this story began. You are wiser now. Stronger now. More honest now. And because of that, you will recognize real love when it appears. You will not miss it. You will not overthink it. You will not chase it. You will feel it in your body as safety, in your mind as clarity, and in your spirit as peace. This is what you were being prepared for all along. Not loss, but discernment. Not heartbreak, but awakening. Not loneliness, but self-respect. I did not let you walk through this to break you. I let you walk through it to free you. And now you are free. Free to love without fear. Free to walk away without guilt. Free to choose without desperation. Free to begin again without carrying the weight of what no longer belongs to you. Stay with me as you step into what's next, because this ending was never meant to be the end. It was meant to be the moment you finally chose yourself, and that choice will echo through every relationship you touch from here on. My child, stay with me and listen closely, because now we come to the turning point where your healing becomes your new identity, not something you are still trying to achieve. This is the stage where you no longer measure your progress by how much it still hurts, but by how differently you now respond to what once would have broken you. You may notice that the memory of them no longer controls your mood, no longer dictates your self-worth, no longer pulls you into late-night questioning about what you should have done differently. That is not because the story lost meaning, but because you gained perspective. Perspective is power. And power is what you are stepping into now. You are beginning to understand that the love you thought you lost was never meant to complete you, it was meant to awaken you. It showed you how deeply you can feel, how loyal you can be, how patient you can remain, but it also showed you the cost of staying where you are not fully chosen. That lesson will stay with you long after the pain fades, and it will quietly protect you in ways you cannot yet see. You are no longer attracted to uncertainty disguised as mystery. You are no longer drawn to people who make you work for clarity. You are no longer willing to shrink your needs to keep someone comfortable. This is not because your heart hardened, but because it healed correctly. A healed heart does not beg, chase, or negotiate. It observes, discerns, and chooses. And choosing yourself no longer feels selfish to you, it feels necessary. You may look back now and realize how much of your life was spent waiting for replies, waiting for reassurance, waiting for effort, waiting for change. That waiting trained you to place your life on pause for someone else's indecision. But that season is over. You are learning how to move forward without looking back for permission. You are learning how to live fully even when someone else cannot meet you there. That is freedom. Freedom does not always feel loud or triumphant. Often it feels quiet, steady, and deeply grounding. It feels like waking up without heaviness in your chest. It feels like enjoying moments without mentally sharing them with someone who is no longer present. It feels like trusting that you do not need to explain yourself to be valid. These are signs that your heart has reclaimed itself. There may still be moments when the past tries to knock on your door, reminding you of what once felt familiar. When that happens, do not open the door. Familiar does not mean safe. Familiar does not mean right. You are not meant to go backward just because something once felt close. You are meant to move forward because you now know better. And knowing better is not arrogance, it is wisdom earned through experience. You will also notice that your standards no longer feel like rules you must enforce. They feel like natural responses to how you value yourself. You no longer ask, "Am I asking for too much?" You ask, "Is this enough for me?" That shift changes everything. It ensures that the next love you allow into your life will meet you in clarity, not confusion. The next connection will not require you to convince yourself to stay. It will invite you to remain without effort. It will not feel like a test of endurance. It will feel like mutual presence. And when that love arrives, you will recognize it not by intensity, but by peace. Peace that does not fluctuate. Peace that does not need reassurance. Peace that feels steady even on ordinary days. That is the love you were being prepared for all along. And until that love arrives, you are learning how to be whole on your own, not lonely, not closed off, but complete. You are no longer using relationships to fill emptiness. You are allowing relationships to add to fullness. That is the difference between attachment and alignment. Attachment asks, "Please don't leave." Alignment says, "I will stay where I am valued." And you are aligned now. You may not fully realize it yet, but your life is already responding to this shift. New opportunities will feel less intimidating. New connections will feel less threatening. You will trust your instincts faster. You will walk away sooner from what feels off. You will no longer need dramatic endings to know when something is over. Clarity will come quietly, and you will honor it without apology. This is maturity. This is healing completed, not healing in progress. And I want you to know this clearly: nothing you went through was wasted. The tears, the confusion, the waiting, the disappointment, they were not punishment. They were preparation. Preparation for a life where you no longer abandon yourself in the name of love. Preparation for relationships where effort flows both ways. Preparation for peace that stays. You are not behind. You are right on time. And the version of you standing here now is someone who will never again settle for half-hearted love while offering a whole heart. That cycle is closed. The door is sealed. The lesson is complete. Now walk forward lightly. Walk forward wisely. Walk forward knowing that you did not lose love, you outgrew what could not hold you. And what comes next will meet you at your level, not pull you down to theirs.